Ever find yourself stuck waiting for something super important, like something
Yeah.
you really, really need?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Well, imagine needing a document to work,
Okay.
like something essential as a driver's license,
Yeah.
but the wait time is over a year.
Oh, wow.
That's been the reality for a lot of immigrants waiting to renew their employment authorization documents.
Fine.
But thankfully, a major change is coming.
That's great.
We're diving into a new rule from the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay.
It's going to impact hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about immigration policy.
Yeah.
We're talking about livelihoods, families, and businesses that rely on these individuals.
It's amazing how much something like an employment authorization document can impact so many people.
An EAD.
Yeah,
the
EAD.
So for our listeners who might not be familiar, can you just break it down for us? What is an EAD and why is it so crucial?
Sure. Think of it like a permit. It's a document that allows certain non-citizens to legally work in the U.S.
Gotcha.
It's not for everyone, though. It mainly impacts individuals who are here legally, but they aren't permanent residents yet.
Okay.
So this could be people who are seeking asylum or have temporary protected status.
And temporary protected status, that's essentially protection from deportation due to conditions in their home country.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I understand there's been a major backlog in processing these renewals,
Yeah.
causing a lot of, stress and uncertainty for people.
Absolutely. This agency that's responsible, USCIS, they've been dealing with these delays,
Right.
leading to wait times that could stretch up to 16 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long time. Can you imagine the impact of
And
that?
job loss.
Yeah, job losses, financial strain, just this constant fear of losing your livelihood.
Just because of paperwork delays.
Yeah, it's paperwork, but it's so important.
And I know our sources, they actually quote the USCIS director, Mjadu,
Uh-huh.
and she talks about, their commitment to reducing barriers in the immigration system and supporting the nation's economy.
Yeah.
This new rule seems to be a big step in that direction.
It is a big step.
So how are they tackling this issue?
Well, they're extending the automatic renewal period for eligible EADs.
Okay, so by how much?
Right.
What's the time frame we're talking about?
It's a big jump. They're taking it from 180 days to 540 days.
Whoa.
That's almost a year and a half.
Yeah, that is substantial. So break it down for us. What does this actually mean for people who are waiting for their renewals?
Well, I think most immediately it's peace of mind and stability.
Right.
Imagine knowing you can keep working.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're covered for this extended period while you wait for the paperwork to go through.
Yeah.
This is huge. For the individuals, obviously, but also the employers who rely on their skills and contributions.
It's like a huge relief. Like, okay, I can breathe.
Exactly. And then from a broader perspective, it allows USCIS to focus on processing applications
Right.
more efficiently, without the pressure of these immediate work authorization needs.
So this is a permanent change,
Yes, it is.
not just a temporary fix.
No, this is permanent. It goes into effect on January 13th, 2025.
Okay.
But here's the interesting part. It applies retroactively to applications filed on or after May 4th, 2022.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so anyone who's been waiting in limbo since then, that's a big deal.
That's great news.
Definitely a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. It sounds like a really positive change.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of support for this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This wasn't just a decision that just happened. There's been a lot of support for this kind of reform.
Okay.
With both Democrats and Republicans advocating for a more, streamlined process.
But both sides agree.
Yeah, it's not often you see that.
Not with immigration.
Yeah, especially with something as complex as immigration policy.
What were some of the arguments for it?
Well, Senator Elizabeth Warren, for example, she was quoted talking about the human impact of these delays,
Okay.
highlighting how this change would protect families from losing their livelihoods, because of these bureaucratic bottlenecks.
Right.
On the other side, a lot of Republicans, they've voiced concerns about labor shortages
Okay.
and the need for a system that, doesn't hinder businesses from getting skilled workers.
It seems like it kind of hits both sides.
Yeah, it addresses both the humanitarian and economic aspects of the issue.
Yeah.
And it's also important to note that this outcome, it was fueled by years of advocacy
Okay.
from organizations like the Asylum Seeker Advocacy Project.
And their director, Conchita Cruz, she was quoted talking about the importance of advocacy efforts
Yeah.
in achieving this kind of policy change.
It shows that individuals and organizations can make a difference.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
So this new rule is a positive step.
For sure.
But are there any like drawbacks or unintended consequences?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that no policy change is perfect.
Right.
One potential concern is that extending the automatic renewal period, it could kind of mask the issue,
Okay.
the underlying issue of processing times.
Uh-huh.
It provides relief for people,
Right.
but it doesn't necessarily address the root cause of the backlog.
At USCIS.
Right.
So it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It helps with the immediate pain, but it doesn't really fix the problem.
Right.
So it's important to keep focusing on improving efficiency and streamlining processes,
Yeah.
within USCIS.
Make things faster.
Yeah, the goal should be to reduce processing times
Okay.
so that automatic extensions are less of a necessity
Okay.
and more of a safety net.
It sounds like there's still work to be done.
Yeah, to make sure the system really works for people.
Both individuals and the economy.
Exactly. This new rule is a big victory,
Huh.
but it also shows that the conversation about immigration and a fair system isn't over.
And as we wrap up our deep dive,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways for our listener?
I think the biggest thing is just, the power of just not giving up. You know how years of advocacy coupled with support, from both sides,
Right.
it can lead to meaningful change.
Yeah.
The EAD extension really shows that.
It shows that, we can actually make a difference.
Exactly. And, while this change focuses on renewals, it really, kind of shines a light on the bigger challenges.
It's in the immigration system.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
can we make the system better for everyone?
Yeah. What about those applying for the first time?
Exactly. They have their own hurdles.
Right.
These are conversations we need to keep having.
Yeah. It's easy to get lost in the, policy jargon.
Right.
But it's about people.
Yeah, their lives, their ability to work and contribute.
Exactly.
That's what matters.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into this EAD expansion, what are your final thoughts?
Well, it's a victory, but it's just one step. We need to keep pushing for a system that's fair and efficient for everyone.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating talking about this new rule and all its implications.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And for our listeners, we hope you'll continue to explore these important conversations.